We are taking you live now to Queensland Fire and Emergency Services Headquarters, where Deputy Commissioner Mike Wassing is speaking.
And we've had some rain, particularly in the southwest and southeast on the fires, and that's been great for our firefighters out there, but we still are not out of the woods. We still have approximately 52 fires across Queensland currently, and we still have some very high fire dangers in central West Queensland later on this week, including in the area of the Carnarvon Gorge, which is already in excess of 330,000 hectares. And we're working very closely with the Parks and Wildlife Service and the local community in that area, and we'll be working through that area for several weeks to come. We still have a number of large fires also in far north Queensland, but there are no immediate threats in those locations. Happy to take any questions.
Go back to that plane crash. Talk me through the reason of grounding those flights.
So as part of standard practice with regards to any aircraft incident, it's standard practice to ground aircraft that might be related in terms of the airbase operations or in terms of the contracted aircraft specifically. That's why we've had some of the airbase operations ceased yesterday, but today we still have a lot of those aircraft operating. We still have significant air operations. It is only the 4 aircraft that have been impacted on that.
Could you just confirm with us that the 3 deceased people are likely from Victoria? I know we've heard they're contracted with AGAIR. They do stuff in correlation with QFS and obviously it's contracted with you guys. Any of the deceased from Queensland?
Yes, so the deceased aircrew, again, the deceased aircrew are part of a very close community. In fact, whilst it's not for me to sort of talk about in terms of the current release of their names, we do know some of that aircrew do have close connections into the New South Wales Rural Fire Service and fire services in Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria.
Sorry, so there could be part of all 3 services?
Yeah. So it's a bit kind of difficult because it's sort of they're contracted from Victoria but working in Queensland. But yes, so there's connections in terms of some of their other roles, I suppose.
Was there anyone on board that was from the QFS or someone from Queensland that was helping guide them through that area?
No, all 3 personnel are part of AGAIR and they're contracted personnel. But obviously they work very closely with our air operations personnel. They're all friends with our own people, our own firefighters, as well as our other air operations personnel as well.
How long has this crew been contracted to QFS?
So the company's worked with Queensland Fire and Emergency Services for some time and operate as part of a national aircraft contract arrangement.
Could you walk us through what you guys are doing as part of the investigation process? I know that earlier Superintendent Arnold said it was a little bit delayed in terms of getting investigators to the scene. What are you guys doing to the scene?
So currently our focus is in terms of supporting our people and those around them that have been impacted by this tragic outcome and the incident. We're working very closely with the Australian Transport Safety Bureau. The area of impact and the incident itself is very remote, and so it's very difficult to access. The initial response was to make sure that we got crews there and were able to contain safely that location. And now it's about getting the investigators to that location because it is very remote. We continue to support the investigators, and that will take weeks, if not much longer than that, to work through those details.
At that crash site, were there a few fires ignited from the accident,
I can say that there was a fire as a result of the impact of the incident, but that is all now contained.
Just go back to the water bombers. Is that going to hinder any efforts? I know that we have, like those planes specifically kind of guide water bombers. That's what they map out for. So how does that play out? How does that affect?
The aircraft itself that was part of this tragic incident was what we call a line scan aircraft. So it helps inform our mapping and our hotspots in terms of those aircraft. So it hasn't had any immediate impact in terms of any of our air operations as far as firebombing goes. We have had several aircraft grounded as part of standard practice, but there is no impact on our current operations tempo or our fires that we have throughout Queensland.
Has this crew been involved in firefighting efforts in the Western and Southern Downs in recent years?
This crew has been involved in a lot of the operations right throughout Queensland, and primarily, given the fires that we've had in southwest Queensland, have been very active in mapping those locations.
Has it just been redeployed to another
The line scan aircraft is based at Toowoomba, and that's where it's been doing a lot of its air operations. Given that we've had a number of fires and large fires in northern Queensland, it had departed Toowoomba, tracking to Mount Isa to also do line scan operations in those areas when the incident occurred.
Was it doing mapping at the time?
It was on its way to do some of that mapping. Whether it was actually doing mapping at the time, I'm not aware, and that will be part of the investigations.
How long do you expect investigations to take? Because I know that we'll have obviously like ABS will take, the aviation side will take significantly longer.
Yes.
But before that, I guess, when will we expect, I guess, to know roughly what happened?
The investigation will be led by the Australian Transport Safety Bureau, and so whilst the initial focus will be in terms of how this tragic accident has occurred, I suspect that this will take weeks, if not months, to really piece the various parts together, but that will be up to the Australian Transport Safety Bureau to fully inform the outcomes of that investigation.
Just speaking on the weather now, a little bit of a blessing with the rain that's fallen on certain parts of the southwest. Can you just let us know what, how much that's helped our fire efforts in that region and what the new primary focus is on?
So this weather has been very favourable for us, particularly in the southwest and southeast Queensland. We've had reasonable rainfall on the fires around Tara, Wollongara and Dalveen, and that's been tremendous for our firefighters out there. Recognising that we've already got also interstate support into those areas as well. So that's really helped the firefighting efforts out there. Our focus will continue to be consolidate and use this weather to make sure that we control those fires and we really peg them in. But we still do have some large fires and heightened fire conditions in central West Queensland. And so that's where our focus now shifts in terms of those fires in the central West, central Queensland and to the far north. But again, it enables us to really get in there. And we do have New Zealand crews also now arriving today and tomorrow that will help in those locations as well. That's right. Yes.
Is that across the board?
Yes. Today we have all of our flags at half-mast in acknowledging the tragic circumstances with the 3 deceased aircrew from yesterday, and that will be right across Queensland today.
And Victorians, is that the understand that the people on board are they from Victoria, from Queensland?
The contract aircraft are based in Victoria. The personnel come from different states.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, that is the Deputy Commissioner there at the Queensland Fire and Emergency Services headquarters. Mike Wassing, he spoke on the 3 people who died in a plane crash while helping to fight fires. Their current focus is now supporting people affected by this incident and working closely with Transport Safety, the Bureau there, to investigate the incident. The Deputy Commissioner also spoke about the more favourable weather conditions, particularly in the southwest and the southeast of the state with some reasonable rain. However, still fires are burning and they do have interstate support.